Hey, welcome back to the Sonic Boomers podcast. And I'm Pete. I'm here with Maureen, of course. And Maureen, I'd have to say, is the only person who can smell a bad rebrand before the ink even gets dry.
That's because I've lived through enough of them. Today, we're talking about the 10 brand modifications that backfired spectacularly. Not just the headlines, but we're also digging into the why, the fallout, and what lessons we can learn from that.
Listen, if any of the big companies are listening, I'm just full of marketing ideas, fresh ideas, successful ideas. I'll give you one right now. Let's talk about Starbucks.
Okay.
What if we took the word Starbucks and spelled it with 2 X's?
Pete, stop. That's not even edgy.
Like Exxon?
No, that's not even edgy. That's like a typo.
Let's move on to segment 1. And we're calling this Classic Misfires. And we start with the epic failure of 1985. This is probably in marketing textbooks. The Coke rebrand. Coca-Cola panicked because Pepsi was winning in blind taste testing. So they decided to reformulate the recipe for Coca-Cola. And they tested blind taste tests. And they said overwhelmingly in the taste test, people liked the new Coke flavor over old Coke, and they liked it more than Pepsi. So, sounds like a winner to us.
Problem was, Coke wasn't just a drink. It was Americana. People felt betrayed.
It wasn't just about flavor. It was about memory. It was about experience. I always say good products, good brands, good TV shows, they give you a hug. They make you feel like you belong. It's a part of you and you're a part of us. Coca-Cola did that. This was the drink that was on the family table on the holidays when mom and dad and grandma and grandpa were drinking wine and the kids had to drink soda. You were probably drinking Coca-Cola. It was the drink that you and your friends enjoyed opening up a bottle on a hot summer day. It was the drink that you had with your friends hanging around in the basement listening to your favorite records. Coca-Cola was there. That doesn't come up in a blind study of taste.
Right. Because they were only interested in taste at that point.
It was a huge screw up on their part. What would you say the lesson is in this?
I think you can't underestimate the emotional equity in a product. Taste is one thing, but the heritage behind it, like you said, is priceless.
Well, what if they called it, and Coke, are you listening? What if they called it Coke 2.0?
Or maybe not.
Our next example is the Gap logo change of 2010.
Gap switched its iconic blue box for a bland Helvetica logo with a shiny, little tiny gradient square.
Yeah, and the customer said it looked like a bad PowerPoint template, which it kind of did. And who knows, they probably paid some designer hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Could be.
To come up with this logo. And social media roasted them like chestnuts on an open fire. It got to be so bad that after just 6 days, they went back to the old logo.
I almost can't remember what the two logos looked like. It was such a short-lived lifespan for it.
So what is the lesson?
That logos aren't just decoration. They're shorthand for trust. And when you change the logo, you're changing the narrative. And it feels like you're erasing the whole past.
Now, how many of you out there like Tropicana orange juice? Okay, got our hands up. This is the Tropicana packaging fiasco of 2009, coming to a theater near you. They decided to ditch the logo. Now, remember the logo, and this was a great logo. It was an orange with a straw stuck into it. So what did it tell you? It told you that when you buy Tropicana, you're getting it right from the orange. It's fresh. It's pure. You're tapping right into the orange. It doesn't get better than this, folks. And it was an easy thing to spot on the shelves. So what happened? They changed it.
Unfortunately, in doing that, shoppers could not find it on the shelves anymore, which resulted in sales plummeting like $30 million in 2 months.
That's bad. That's when you do that, you know you've screwed up. So what's the lesson for the Tropicana folks?
I think you have to be very diligent about your packaging. If the customers can't recognize you instantly, you've lost the sale.
This is segment 2, and we call this one Media Stumbles.
Netflix and Quickster of 2011. Netflix tried to split DVDs and streaming into 2 separate services.
So customers hated juggling 2 accounts. You had 2 accounts, 2 bills, 2 websites. It was chaos. As I like to say, it was fraught with peril. And Netflix killed Quickster in under a month. The only thing quick about Quickster was its death.
Right. So what do we take from that? Convenience is king. You don't want to complicate customers' experiences with what they already love.
Next, we have the Yahoo rebrand of 2013. Yahoo brings in a new hotshot CEO named Marissa Mayer. Yahoo was rapidly becoming irrelevant. A little upstart called Google started to show up, and they did it better. And so what do? When you have a product that isn't performing, well, it must be the name. It must be the logo. They came up with a whole bunch of logo tweaks inside of 30 days and didn't fix a darn thing.
What they were hoping was that they were going to look innovative. People were going to see that and think that, oh, they're becoming relevant. But instead, the bigger problem wasn't irrelevance, and a new font couldn't fix that.
So what is the lesson here?
That you can't paper over strategic drift. You got to fix the product before the logo. The product was what was wrong, not the logo.
So maybe instead of calling it Yahoo, maybe they should have called it Yikes, it's Google.
Honestly, that would have been more honest.
And here's my favorite because it's recent and it's kind of my wheelhouse. MSNBC was changed to MS Now. Of course, that makes it better because it's newer. Listen. First of all, why did they do this, Maureen?
Well, they wanted some restructuring. MSNBC was rebranded as MS Now because they wanted to sound modern and digital.
I kind of understand
They
it.
were trying to depart a little from the NBC.
I know that ratings have been down. MSNBC, I love you, but that wasn't your problem. They had a lot of internal turmoil inside of MSNBC. People were fired, people walked out, there were changes made on the air. You let Rachel Maddow, who was your flagship anchor, go to working 1 day a week. And she decided, well, I don't want to work that hard. So I'm only going to come in 1 day a week. But get me her agent. Man, that's a sweetheart deal. But guess what? It put a dagger into MSNBC. That and the departure of other show hosts. Viewers said, look, we trusted MSNBC, but this sounds like a startup acronym, and the ratings are dipping. Look at what they did. Not only did they screw with programming, they took off the MSNBC name, first of all, to set this up for you, was created when Microsoft went into a joint project with NBC, hence the name. Microsoft bailed out years ago, but they were smart enough to retain the name. It ain't broke, don't fix it. Then Comcast involves, they come in and they create another company called Verisant. God only knows what that's supposed to mean. And they take over the day-to-day operations of MSNBC and say, well, you know what? We got to make it hip. We got to make it edgy. Let's get rid of the NBC name. NBC, who doesn't know what the hell NBC is? Who didn't grow up watching NBC? NBC News, Chet Huntley, David Brinkley. It's historic. It was a trusted news organization. You might not agree with their philosophy, but nonetheless, a trusted news organization. Let's get rid of the NBC part. And then they say, and while we're at it, let's do another stupid thing. Let's get rid of the Peacock, because the Peacock represents NBC. Again, a trusted name. So you took the whole branding, the whole essence of the network, and you flushed it down the toilet. And the critics are skewering them over this. So the lesson here is...
You have to realize if you have a legacy brand, there's a trust factor in there. And if you don't honor that history, it's like erasing it, and the people are not going to like it.
So MSNBC, MS Now, I have come to your rescue with my version of a rebrand. We're going to call it MSNBC Remix.
Pete, just stop with these
Remix.
Stop with the sequels, Pete.
Let's move on to segment 3, and that's retail and food fiascos. And in 2009, Radio Shack, which was already losing market share to the big box stores, decided, we've got a fire going here. Let's pour some gasoline on it. So what did they do? They changed the name thinking that it would make them look more hip. And they changed it from Radio Shack to The Shack. Now, I grant you, Shack works great if you're a basketball star. It works great if you're selling milkshakes, because there's a Shake Shack.
Right.
But going from Radio Shack to The Shack, once again, you confuse the hell out of your customers. Oh, and by the way, the merchandise was crap by the time they got to be The Shack.
And unfortunately, instead of it sounding like innovative and cool, the people just took that as a signal that, oh, Radio Shack is getting desperate. Look what they're doing. They wanted innovation. They didn't want slang. And unfortunately, bankruptcy followed.
Yeah.
Just a few years later.
It has disappeared from the face of the earth. So the lesson here is
that you can't have gimmicks. If you want authenticity, that's got to be the number one thing. The gimmicks and the coolness can't be manufactured.
You see, Radio Shack should have hired me to be in charge of their branding, because what I would have done was, okay, this is another good one. I would have changed it to make it edgy. I would go from Radio Shack to Rad Shack. The Pete, Rad Shack.
Pete, that's not rad. That's sad.
Need a cell phone? Come to the Rad Shack. We got rad sales this week. No, huh?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think even that would have saved them.
All right, here's number 9, and this one just happened. The stink is still in the air on this one. The Cracker Barrel rebrand of 2025. They rolled out a sleek new logo. They got rid of Uncle Herschel, who is the guy that's sitting there in the rocking chair. Oh, and they came up with this sleek logo. It was absolutely soulless. It looked like it could have been a Golden Corral logo. It could have been a Burger King. It could have been a McDonald's. It said nothing other than the name of the store. All of that cachet was gone. They changed the menus. You don't go from biscuits and gravy to avocado toast.
No.
And the interiors. Again, people love those Cracker Barrel interiors, the old Americana look with the pictures on the wall and the old telephones and the old radios. And they messed with that. And then the CEO had the audacity to go on Good Morning America and say, it's a hit. People like it. We've got store managers lined up who are saying, when are you going to do my store? And the fact of the matter is, people friggin' hated it.
I know that the fans absolutely revolted. I never saw anything quite like that. And you had social media accusing them of abandoning their rustic charm and criticizing them. Politicians were weighing in. It became a whole culture war.
So what I think they could have done here, the rebrand would have been, let's not call it Cracker Barrel anymore, but with this new direction we're going, let's change it to Cracker Bistro.
Pete, I think they're going to ban you from naming restaurants. I mean, actually, you just can't modernize without respecting the heritage.
Our next one is the rebrand of Weight Watchers in 2018. They changed the name from Weight Watchers to WW. Why did they do that, Maureen?
Because it was getting to be a time when the media was projecting an unhealthy image of mostly women, but people in general, of being thin and emaciated as being the look that you should be striving for. And Weight Watchers saw that as being dangerous, that it could blow up in their face, that people could be getting sick and developing eating disorders and such. So they wanted to get away from just being weight loss, just promoting people and just saying wellness. It's not important the number on the scale. It's how you feel.
Well, see, I disagree with that. I think I've done Weight Watchers. I know I did Lean Line. I've done a bunch of those over the years, and they all work for me. But I myself would not go on Weight Watchers or any other course to tell you I'm working on my wellness. No, I don't know anybody that would have said, well, I'm going on to Weight Watchers because I'm concerned about wellness. No, we're going on to Weight Watchers, and I say myself included, because we're trying to lose weight.
But you wanted
that
to
was the brand, Weight Watchers.
But you
go
want
on
to do
to
it in a
lose
healthy
weight.
way.
I didn't give a damn how I did it, just as long as I lost it. Just as long as I lost the weight. I wasn't worried about wellness. I was losing about not being a fat guy anymore. And when they did this, they go to WW. Now you've taken the name that clearly said what it was, and you go, well, we're WW now. Well, what the hell does that mean? People didn't know what that meant. They didn't know what the heck was going on at Weight Watchers. And so guess what? The memberships fell, and they had to go and clarify themselves. So what's the lesson here outside of Pete's always right?
Pete's never right. Clarity does matter. And if your name confuses people, your mission won't fly. I will give you that. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
Well, here's what they could have done.
Okay.
Instead of going from Weight Watchers to WW, they could have gone to WTF.
People are going to be getting the wrong idea about that.
No, take your mind out of the gutter. It's not that. WTF, wellness, totally fun.
Pete,
which it's not.
Pete, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
We move on to our final case study, and that is the MasterCard priceless conversion in 2019.
If you remember, they used to say, MasterCard, priceless.
Right. They would show you like a memory of something and say, your kid bringing you your first present on Father's Day. Priceless.
And
beautiful.
They tried to evolve that. I guess they felt they wanted to bring it up to date or something. And they changed it from priceless to priceless surprises.
What was the surprise? What was the
surprise? Bill you got at the end of the month.
The surprise was, surprise, we screwed with the branding and now you don't know what the hell we're doing over here. Surprise!
The surprise, the interest rate you're going to pay on that precious little priceless thing.
Customers said that the new campaign lacked the emotional punch of the original, and once again, a new campaign went on its butt. So the lesson here, teacher, is...
Don't dilute. If you've got an iconic message, an iconic campaign, you have to look at your strengths and amplify those and minimize your weaknesses.
So instead of becoming priceless surprises, they could have called it MasterCard priceless-ish. Huh? What do you think?
I think the priceless lesson here is that we shouldn't let you near the marketing department.
So here's the big takeaway on our show. Brands are emotional contracts. They really are. It's more than artwork. It's more than being hip. It's more than being edgy. It's more than being minimalist. Design can be minimalist, but memories are maximalist.
Ooh,
Take
that's a good one.
that to the bank.
And if you're thinking of rebranding, maybe don't hire Pete.
Hey, listen, my Starbucks idea with the 2 X's is still on the table.
I'm
Maureen.
going to flip that table.
Hey, that's it for this edition of the Sonic Boomers. Subscribe, share, and remember, sometimes the biggest booms are the ones that the brands didn't want.